30 mil, London. 6 months later, Paris, Vienna. The guys were good. They wore their gloves, right? Well, little hair, little epithelials. And now Interpol had, and I don't think NSA had to do with this, but maybe, who knows? They came up with a super encryption system in the gazillions, right? And they were able to encrypt the DNA and pass it all over Europe and into the U.S. The same gang stole $200 million worth of high-grade art. I love biometrics. Usually we think
the guys?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know about that, but they knew who they were anyhow. Satellite encryption, right?
This is awesome, by the way. Thank you.
This is my bag. I love it.
Satellite
Satellite
that's why we're all
encryption.
here.
I couldn't talk about it for years now. Of course, we got two of them hanging here. You send the satellites up, you got to tell it where to go and what to listen to or take pictures of, right? That's one crypto box. Because you don't want the enemy to know that. And then when you get the goodies, you encrypt the intel down to the ground, right? So that's why there's two boxes in the early satellites. And then two smaller boxes and then two chips, right? All right. What I never thought I would live to see, because this stuff was super secret at one time, was a guy going on CNN, Fox News, and CSNBC, and this is 2.5 years ago, he's an Israeli. He announces to the world, we have contracted with I have to hold on when I say this because all the things don't stick together, Russian military missile satellite launch facility to put a photographic intel satellite over Iran. Russian military? Huh? Iran? Isn't that their customer? Oh, excuse me, this is money. I forgot that part. 2 weeks later, never thought I'd live to see this. He's back on TV. These are the photographs of your super secret facility at Natanz.
Oh my.
Ain't they clear? We know everything you're doing. The only lie was anything over 20 inches. It's a lot better than that, always says. Mm-hmm. Now, why would they advertise this? Well, we call this OPSEC. Operation Security, and I learned this a long time ago, Vietnam, we kind of relearned stupid. If you keep all your secrets and you really have codes of cybersecurity can't be broken, I still know what you're doing because you set up to do the same operations with the same colors, shapes, airplanes, tanks,
So it's
logistics.
about the patterns?
It's called patterns. Now, we learned from Vietnam, again, with B-52 strikes, and this sounds bizarre. I sound like I'm making it up. It makes the men who looked at goats seem not quite as funny. You have a B-52 strike in South Vietnam. You have to put a notice to airmen to all major airports, including Hanoi. Mm-hmm. Don't fly here because we're going to have refueling right here in this cell. Don't fly here. Now, where they were refueling was related to where they're going to drop bombs.
Of course.
But don't tell the military. Don't tell the military.
You can't
part
do this,
two,
but
in case you missed that one, they're coming into Vietnam, identification, friend or foe. They send another thing out, right? Of course you can see them too. Here they come. Oh, it gets worse. You had to tell the local commanders, which includes American, Vietnamese, Australian, whatever, right? They're going to have a heavy artillery strike, okay? And the village chief, who got on his bicycle and yelled to the guys in the black pajamas, heavy artillery strike, and half of the guys in the black pajamas were Viet Cong. So the efficiency rating of these bomb strikes was close to that. So they changed the patterns, and they also told the U.S. Army, if you have an emergency strike that you need while they're up there, which means they kept the real ones as emergencies, you can call it while they're in the air, and they'll hit it then. Gee, when they did it that way, they got a whole regiment of North Vietnamese. What a crazy idea. Part two.
Surprise
we learned from
airstrikes.
this
What an idea.
that you can protect people as well as, hide operations by projecting or advertising. So when they killed the Israeli athletes in Munich, we figured when they moved the next Olympics to Seoul, Korea, Kim Il-sung, who was not a nice man, He had killed 17 diplomatic representatives in Burma the year before just for fun that went from South Korea. So we trained the South Koreans in projecting OPSEC advertising. These are the various security, alarms, special forces, taekwondo, overhead. We'll know anything you're trying to do. We listen to your mail. Don't even think of it. There was nothing. The next big Olympics down in Greece, we did the same thing all across your TVs worldwide. Layer upon layer upon layer of security, sensors, overhead, And oh, you ding-dongs out there in the Med who want to blow things up with your bodies and bring them in on a boat, forget it. We got the Sixth Fleet waiting for you. There was no terrorist event in that Olympics. The Chinese didn't learn quite as well, but they did learn. If we do it, they learn it, right?
Yeah.
You're darn right. So the only
Too
people who got
fast.
killed in the Olympics, there was a soccer coach's father who was whacked in a tower in Beijing by some nutcase, but that wasn't terrorism, that was just crazy. And the Turco-Uyghur people who hate the Han Chinese forever because they're Turkic, they were attacking in Xinjiang province, but they never got anywhere near the Olympics. So you can hide the information or you can advertise it. And that's operations security. If you watch NCIS, you'll see that in the background fairly often.
That's what happened during Desert Storm. They were talking on CNN about where might they go and what's going on, and the Army's just going, hey, great. They watch CNN too. Talk all you like.
I personally
One of-
both hide and advertise my information. It's a good strategy.
You use both. That's why I
I
call it
do.
operations security.
You said or, though.
Either or.
I'm an and.
Either or.
Okay.
Both or both. Let's put both.
Both. Yes.
And I've done both. Okay.
I leave $50 on my dresser when I go traveling.
Smart guy.
Just sitting there.
Once again,
Not me.
using this kind of thing is very important.
You can come through.
In Desert Storm, we set up ships, Navy and Marines outside the Persian Gulf, a lot of airplanes, special forces, the whole thing. Saddam thought they were going to attack, so he put 3 divisions up against the Persian Gulf area, and it left a hole, and the Allies took them out in a week and a half. Was there a Marine invasion? No. And that was a OPSEC, advertise what you're going to do, even though you know you're not, just make them think you were.
Didn't they do something similar in World War II where they had
Yes, they did. The
inflatable
Brits did it.
tanks?
The Brits did it 3 times with Navy against Norway, and the only reason the Germans bought it the 3rd time is because the Brits found out that they had an agent who was pretending to be pro-Allies working for the Nazis, and they told him the 3rd time's the real thing. The other 2 were just to fake them, and so they kept 300,000 troops and didn't move them down to France. Oh yeah. So now you got to go home. Is that it?
No, I think that was for somebody specific. Are we done? Does anybody know what our timeline is?
You guys mentioned one.
So questions. What you're looking at there, this thing here, there's a one made out of wood back there. It came out of a lady's house in what is now West Virginia, what during the French Revolution was Northern Virginia.
It's like Napier's bones, isn't it?
Why is this thing, which has 26 random alphabets, in the form of wood back there, and it's 200 years old? Because during the French Revolution, Citizen Genet and French agents were trying to get us in there to help them whack the British. But Jefferson was told by Washington, hey, stay out of that thing, they're always killing each other. So he said, no, thank you very much. Well, while Citizen Genet and the agents were here, Robespierre and the boys took over, and we had the terror. And Monsieur Guillotine's humanitarian way of killing people, the head chopper, was being used frequently. So these guys said, we're not going back to France, this is crazy. Last week's heroes are dead. So one of them married Charlene and put that thing in the attic for 200 years. And some great-great-granddaughter took it out of the attic and sold it at auction for $70. It's worth more than your house, your car, and your yacht because it's that many of them. And it's right back there in the other room.
Wow.
$70. Wow. She should have gone on public TV with that.
No idea
eBay.
what she had. No idea what she had.
Yeah.